It just takes a minute for the live stream. Okay, excellent. Yeah. All right, awesome. Another Facebook live stream yoga session. A little sunrise and flow vinyasa this morning with yours truly, Cindy. I have my new yoga company up and running now. So if anyone is down to help out with some donations for the free yoga we've been doing, that would be amazing. We do take donations through Cindy Harrow, Venmo, Peak Yogi, which is on the comments. It's early morning today, so I figure give you a moment to set your space up. If you're in the Zoom meeting, we have the link to a Spotify playlist. It's my Sleepy Time Flow, which is actually very good for the morning as well. If you're feeling like I'm feeling this morning, it's a Shavasana start. So let's lie down on our mats. Get in that position that we were probably pretty familiar with not too long ago, just a few moments before maybe. Grounding into your mat, take a few deep breaths, letting your body relax, melt from the length of your spine, the muscles surrounding it, fusing into the floor. Your hips and legs allowed to be heavy, allowed to spread and take room and space on your mat. Take the space that you need. Let your arms fall wide. Your eyes could be open or shut, whatever feels good for you in this moment. Maybe giving your head a roll from side to side. Begin to deepen your breath as you lie here. Feel your body. Where are you at this moment in each of the sections of your body? How do your abs feel? How do your shoulders feel? How does your mind feel? Is it wandering? Bring it back to the present. Bring it back to your fingertips on the ground. Your forearms feeling the length along the floor. Your breath in and out. Take a nice deep inhale. Fill your lungs. Feel the space that you take. Expand into the world around you. Hold at the top of your inhalation and then slowly exhale, hollowing out your belly, allowing your ribs to fall, your stomach towards your spine. Inhale, filling up, taking up space. Exhale, letting it go. Blinking your eyes open if they're not already there. Finding a good morning stretch, arms above you, stretching opposite lengthwise of your feet in opposite directions, reaching, reaching, reaching. And then exhaling, letting it all go, releasing it to the mat, arms by your side. Inhale, bring your right knee to your chest, gripping with both hands around your shin, maybe interlacing your fingers, giving a wiggle of your hip, rotating your leg in your hip socket, bringing it across your body, out to the side, towards your shoulder and chest, and then finally allowing it to find a center space, hovering above your torso. Inhale, exhale, draw your knee across your body, letting it fall to the left side. Maybe your gaze going to the right for an easy twist. Letting your arms go wide or perhaps cactusing if you lack some room. Breathe here. Each exhalation, bringing your twist a little deeper, allowing gravity to pull your body to twist from your center. Drawing your right shoulder into the mat, maintaining that connection for your arms. Inhale your leg back to center. Exhale, let it go long. Inhale your left leg towards your torso. Pull it in. Rotating it in the hip socket, finding your natural movement here, your space. Giving yourself a little bit of compassion as well. Taking your leg, your knee where it can go. Inhale, fill up. And exhale, let it fall to the right side. Easy twist. Sending your gaze over your left palm, your arms going wide or cactusing. Inhale, fill up. Exhale, let gravity do its work. Twisting from the center, drawing your left shoulder down to your mat. Inhaling and exhaling, releasing a little more. When you're ready, inhaling, bringing that leg back to center. Exhale, sending it long. Inhale, bringing both legs towards your torso. Bringing your forehead to your knees, taking yourself into a tiny little ball, a seed of energy. Rocking back and forth, massaging your spine a bit. Inhale, squeeze tight. Exhale, release down all the way. Shavasana once more, lying on your mat. Inhale, bringing your soles of your feet to your mat, bending at your knees. Taking a moment here, let your legs fall to the right side. One more twist, sending your gaze to the left. This time your knees stacked above each other. Inhale towards center. Exhale, letting them fall to the left. Sending your gaze to the right. Easy twist, stacking your legs above each other. Inhale towards center. The soles of your feet connecting with your mat. Bringing your right leg, crossing it over your left thigh for a figure four. Flexing your toes towards your knee. Taking a moment to feel this position for yourself. Keeping your leg opened. Feeling your structure. And then when you're ready, inhale, lifting your left foot off the mat. Drawing your figure four closer towards your chest, your torso. Perhaps binding your hands behind your thigh or above your knee. And drawing your leg even closer to your chest. Supine figure four. Inhale, fill up. Exhale, draw that knee a little bit closer. Tracking your right knee out so it doesn't dive in towards your chest, but keeps that fine structure of the figure four. On every inhale, filling up. Every exhale, taking it a little closer to your level. Stretching your hip. Opening your legs, your ITs. Inhale and exhale, releasing your sole of your foot back to the floor, unbinding your figure four, your right foot finding your mat. This time crossing your left leg over your right thigh, supine figure four on the left. Finding the structure, flexing your toes towards your knees, opening your hip, not allowing that left knee to dive towards your chest. When you're ready, inhale to prepare and lift your right leg, your right sole of your foot off the mat, bringing it closer to your chest, binding perhaps behind your thigh or over your knee. whatever is good for you. Inhaling, filling up, and exhaling, drawing that knee closer to your chest. Opening your hip, feeling the stretch of your IT. On every inhale, taking up a little more space. And on every exhale, closing the distance between your leg and torso. When you're ready, allowing the soles of your feet to rediscover your mat, unbinding your legs. Inhaling to prepare, sending your arms overhead. Exhale, release it. Inhale, rolling up, sending your arms over your head first, your gaze following your fingertips towards the sky, towards your knees, and then up all the way till your torso meets your thighs and you're sitting tall. Gaze overhead, arms overhead. Rolling back down, exhale slowly with so much control, the fingertips pulling you in the opposite direction as you roll one vertebrae at a time back all the way. Arms once more overhead. Inhale and exhale, release. Inhale, rolling up, sending your fingertips overhead, your gaze to follow your arms all the way till your torso meets your thighs. And exhale, hands to heart center. Crossing your legs in front of you for an easy seat. Perhaps finding a half lotus if that is in your practice, or a simple Sukhasana will do just fine. Sitting tall, stacking your vertebrae, feeling your seat with such stability as your spine stacks over your hips, your ribs. Sitting tall, lifting from your lower body. Feel proud as you feel your spine extend, your crown of your head towards the sky. Thank yourself for being here for just a moment, for taking a moment to have practice today, for taking space for yourself, for making time for yourself. And when you're ready, extending your left leg long, crossing your right leg over your left thigh, finding the sole of your right foot engaged on your mat. Sitting up tall, hugging that knee close to your chest. Wrap your left arm around your right leg. Inhale and exhale, twist to the right, sending your gaze over your right arm finding stability at your low back, supporting your tall spine. Inhale, grow tall, and exhale, twist a little further back, gazing a little further behind you. Inhale, sitting nice and tall, and hands overhead. And exhale, hands to heart center, uncross your legs, sending your right leg long, crossing your left leg over your right, across your thigh, hugging your left leg with your right arm. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, twist to the left, sending your left hand to support behind your back, the base of your tailbone, twisting wherever your comfort level is, whether that's to the side room or all the way back behind your shoulder. Inhale, getting taller. Exhale, twisting further. Inhale, sit up tall, arms overhead, untwisting your legs, letting them go long. Still sitting tall, feeling that extension, lengthening to the sky. Inhale and exhale, seated forward fold. Slowly sending your chest, then your head towards your legs. Inhale, buoy up just a bit. And exhale, drawing your chest towards your thighs, then allowing your head to melt down. Maintaining a light bend in your knees if you need to. Prioritize the extension naturally without forcing it in your hamstrings, without stressing your lower back. Give yourself the grace of a little knee bend if you need it. As you inhale, you may find you buoy up again, and exhale, melt down even further. Maybe even bringing your forehead to your knees. Surrender to this pose for just a moment, breathing here. With every inhale, you feel the spaces fill, and with every exhale, you close those gaps. Whenever you are ready, on an inhale, slowly rolling back up to your tall seat, arms overhead. Exhale, bringing the sole of your right foot to the inner left thigh. Inhale, sitting up tall, arms overhead with your right leg bent. And exhale, fold. This time, focusing on your one leg. Getting as close to your knee, as close to your leg as you can with your upper body, but knowing where your limits are. Inhaling, buoying up, and exhaling, melting further down. Take a moment to breathe here. Focusing on just this leg, maybe straightening it just a little more. Maybe flexing your toes towards your forehead. When you are ready, inhale, sitting up nice and tall, switching your legs out, bringing the sole of your left foot to your right inner thigh. Inhaling, arms overhead, and exhaling, folding towards your right leg. This time focusing on this leg, buoying up with each inhale and exhaling, melting further down. Maybe finding that head to knee connection. Maybe finding more straightness in your hamstring. When you're ready, slowly rolling up, allowing your legs to go long by each other's sides. Bring your hands to your hips and then shimmying your legs out a bit. Give them a shake. It's 2 deep stretches. Give them some movement. And when you're ready, crossing your legs in front of you, rolling over, planting your palms on your mat and stepping back, high plank. First high plank of the day. I like to move up and back a bit, give my hamstrings a little love, especially after that stretch. Maybe bending into one leg and then the other, but coming to stillness finally in my plank. Catting my back just a bit, giving myself that push away, forcing my mat away from my body, engaging my abs. Engage your body all the way from the heels of your feet, shooting energy to the back wall, to the crown of your head. Inhale for strength. Exhale, drop your knees to the mat, tabletop. Walking your hands just under your shoulders, checking your knees or under your hips, maybe shimmying around, finding some natural movement for yourself here. It's your spine, it's your time. Use it wisely. Maybe rolling your hips, maybe finding some cat and cows. Arching your back, bringing your navel into your spine. Exhaling for cat. Inhaling, sending your chest through, gaze high, belly low, cow. Exhale, cat, bring that back high, angry cat back. Inhaling, cow, look tall, look high, send your heart through your arms. Move at your own breath. These cat and cows. Rolling your spine as you feel is fit. Finding your yoga here. And when you're ready, finding stillness. Inhale for strength. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, plank one more time. Well, not one more time. Inhale, tall, high plank, proud plank. Exhale, drop knees, chest, chin. Keep your hips high, your elbows locked to your rib cage. This is the first level of chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Sending your gaze high, pulling your heart through. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hips go up and back. Your body forming this lovely triangular shape with your mat. Prioritizing a flat back over flat legs. Give your knees a little bend. Don't have to have straight legs here. Your heels don't have to touch the mat. Inhale, come high on your toes. Exhale, let them melt closer to the mat. Inhale, come high on your toes. Exhale, let them melt closer to the mat. Engaging all 10 fingers, your palms like suction cups holding you in place. Take 3 breaths connecting with this first down dog of the day. Maybe walking, pedaling your dog if that's for you. Maybe just finding your stillness. In all of these shapes and all of these spaces that we take up, know that you're serving a purpose for yourself. Now connect with what that purpose is. Inhale, gaze forward, bend your knees, bend your elbows, and tippy toe your way all the way to the top of your mat, where your feet may meet your hands. Exhale, forward fold. So many ways to engage in a forward fold. You could have your knees slightly bent, focusing on a torso to thigh connection. You could be working on straightening your legs, drawing your head closer to your knees. Wherever you are today doesn't have to be where you were yesterday. Don't even worry about tomorrow. For me today, it's bent knees. Have compassion for yourself, even in a pose as simple as a forward fold. The crown of your head hang towards the mat. Feel a release along your spine. Let your breath release the tension within your body. And when you're ready, inhale and slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time, allowing your chin and gaze to be the last to rise, your arms overhead, mountain pose. Inhale nice and tall. Take some space, some vertical length towards the sky. Inhale, reaching high. Exhale, letting your shoulders melt away from your ears, stitching your rib cage in, engaging your abdominals. Holding for just a moment, breathing here, feeling tall and strong, knowing that you have power. Exhaling your hands towards heart center. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, swan diving down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, bringing your hands to your thighs, shins, or if your flexibility has it, maybe to the mat. For me today, it's all about the thighs. Prioritizing a nice flat back, the lengthening of the spine out from your hips, your vertebrae coming out through the crown of your head, your shoulder blades, pinching a pencil on the back, just so tightly. close together. Inhaling that tall, proud chest and exhaling, melting down, forward fold. Inhale, plant your hands, step back, high plank. Exhale, knees, chest, shin. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Take 3 breaths here. Maybe walk that dog. Find that your heels can draw a little closer to your mat than before. How is this pose changing as your body changes through your practice, through your progress? Inhale, gaze forward, bend your knees, bend your elbows, tippy toe your way to the top of your mat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, mountain pose. Exhale, hands through heart center, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, high plank. Inhale, hold for strength. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 more breaths here in your down dog. How is it for you? Down dog used to be such a struggle for my body until I found what my down dog was like, which actually started with bent knees, very bent knees. When you're ready, take a nice deep inhale, filling up your lungs, all of the spaces inside your body. And exhale, sigh it out. Inhale, gaze forward, bend your knees, bend your elbows, tiptoe all the way to the top of your mat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain pose, rolling all the way up. Exhale, hands through heart center, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, high plank. Inhale for strength here. Exhale, low plank, shifting forward, bringing yourself to a 90-degree angle in your arms, your elbows hugging towards your ribs. Inhale, upward facing dog, flip your feet, pull your chest through. Your heart shining, your gaze high. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful flow. Take a couple seconds, take a couple breaths, walk your dog. And then when you're ready, inhale your right leg high, sending your heel towards the sky, flexing your toes towards your mat, maintaining control, power in your leg, sending the pinky of your right foot, drawing it towards your mat, not allowing it to flare towards the sky, evening your hips, inhaling that leg even higher, and when you're ready, exhale, bring your knee all the way to your nose, holding it there, catting your back, abs working. Inhale, leg high. Exhale, step it through. Bring your knee to your nose and then plant your foot just below your torso, between your hands. You may find that you get that step right off. You may find that it takes a little shimmy. Maybe you only got to the middle of your mat, so you have to step your foot forward just a little more. That's fine. Adjust your practice for where you're at. Hold here. Breathe here for just a moment. Runner's lunge, allowing your torso to hover just above your thigh, your fingertips grazing your mat, your chest proud, your gaze slightly ahead of you. The heel of your back foot raised but energized, high on your toes. And when you are ready, step your back foot out to a 45-degree angle, tracking your legs just a little bit. And inhale, warrior one. sending your arms to the sky, your gaze to follow. Breathe here for just a moment. Check in with yourself in Warrior One. It can be a little bit different for everyone. I like to track my legs out a bit, staggering them, making space for my hips, which can then draw evenly towards the front of the room. More importantly, though, your ribs should draw evenly towards the front of the room. Inhaling your arms high, drawing your spine out of your hips, up towards the sky, your ribs coming so tall with you. And as you feel more powerful, maybe bending more into that front leg, but not allowing it to go past that 90-degree angle, not allowing your knee to jut past your ankle. Inhaling for strength and exhale, sending your arms behind your low spine, interlacing your fingers at your low back, preparing for a humble warrior shoulder rinse. Inhaling tall, your chest proud. Exhale, slowly fold forward, humble warrior. Sending your gaze towards your mat. Maybe sending your gaze towards the back of your room, between your legs, the crown of your head drawing to the mat. Your arms, letting gravity work, drawing a shoulder rinse over your torso. Holding your balance, engaging your legs, ripping into the mat with your feet. So grounded. Breathe here for a moment, finding your balance in this bound, humble warrior. And inhale, slowly rising up all the way, arms back overhead. Lovely. Breathe for just a second. Inhale and exhale all of the air out of your lungs. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, hands towards heart center, hinge forward, step into your front leg, grounding into that front foot, and then step your left to meet your right, sitting here in a prayer squat almost. And then inhale up, mountain pose. Exhale, chair. Sink low in your seat, sending your hips back as though you're sitting in an invisible chair, your arms still tall, reaching out in front of you, above you. Hold for a second. Feel the power of your thighs wrapping around, creating the strength as they press together, holding you in position. Finding the balance of your weight more in your heels than in your toes. Inhale, mountain pose, stand tall. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, high plank. Inhale, hold for strength. Exhale, low plank. Arms close to your body, 90-degree angles. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lovely. Inhale, lift your left leg high. Flex your toes, drawing your pinky toe towards the mat, evening your hips out. And breathing for just a moment. Inhale, lift it a little taller, a little higher. Exhale, knee to nose, bringing it in. Inhale, send the leg high once more. Exhale, step it through, knee to nose, and then between your hands. Feel free to shimmy it forward if you need to. Breathing here for just a second, holding here in a low runner's lunge. Allowing your torso to hover above your thigh, your fingertips just above the mat. Your gaze out forward. And when you're ready, tracking, stepping your back foot out to a 45-degree angle. Inhale up, warrior one, sending your arms high overhead. Breathing here for a moment again, coming into connection with your warrior one. Where is your stance? Do you prefer to track your legs out, giving your hips some space? Go for it. Do you have less of a bend in your front leg? That's okay. Eventually, your stance becomes wider. Your bend in your knee becomes more exaggerated. But let your hips and your legs open as they may. Drawing your ribs evenly towards the front of the room. Inhaling high, exhaling, letting your shoulders melt away from your ears. Exhaling, bringing your hands to bind behind your low back. One more shoulder rinse to come. Inhaling a tall, proud chest. Exhale, humble warrior. Melting down, folding towards your mat. Your chest drawing down first, and if you feel confident, allowing the crown of your head to melt down towards the mat. Your gaze going between your legs. Your shoulder rinse, letting gravity do its work, sending your arms wherever they may over your torso. Breathing here for just a moment, finding your power and your balance in this space, grounding into your feet. You've got this. And when you are ready, slowly raising up, unwind, binding your hands, arms overhead, warrior one. Inhale tall, exhale hands to prayer, hinge forward, ground into your front foot, stepping your weight into it, and then step your right foot to meet your left, sitting in a low squatted position. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, chair. Sitting low in your seat, grounding into your heels, maybe even letting your toes come off of the mat. Your hands high, your gaze with them. Inhale, exhale, let your shoulders melt from your ears. Sit back in your seat. Find the muscles in your thighs pushing together to give you your balance. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands. Step back, high plank. Inhale, hold. Exhale, lower all the way down till your belly is on the mat. Let your arms go long by your sides and rest on either ear, right or left, whatever feels good for you. Bending at your knees and windshield wipering your legs side to side, giving your back a little bit of love and looseness. When you're ready, finding stillness, planting the tops of your feet into the mat, the shoelace side. Bringing your forehead to the mat, zipping your legs together, planting your hands just below your shoulders, right next to your body. Inhale, fill up. Exhale, sigh it out. When you're ready, inhale, cobra pose. Raise your gaze, your chest off the mat, finding strength in your low back to lift your upper body, planting your toes into the ground for stability. Maybe on an inhale, finding you can come a little bit taller, a little bit higher, maybe even lifting your hands off the mat, testing the strength in your back by allowing your palms to hover. When you're ready, exhale, release, sending your cheek to the mat, letting your arms go long. If it feels good, maybe windshield wipering your legs once more. Planting your feet back towards the mat, finding your center once more, planting your hands below your shoulders. Exhale all of your air out. Inhale, cobra. Raising yourself up, peeling that upper body off the mat, lifting as high as you can, feeling the engagement in your low back, the press of your feet into the mat. And exhale, opposite cheek to the mat, resting wherever your comfort is. Replacing your center chin or forehead to the mat, whichever you prefer. Taking a moment, flipping your palms to the ground by your hips, preparing for a locust pose. Inhale, fill up, exhale, sigh it out. Inhale, locust pose, peeling your torso off the mat, and then perhaps your arms. If you can float here, maybe lifting your legs, balancing on the pelvis. Inhaling, coming higher, coming taller off the mat, lifting your arms, lifting your legs, allowing the length of it all to come together, pulling you off the mat in this tension on your pelvis. And as you exhale, let it all go. Cheek to the mat, legs fall apart. Take up space. Inhale. Back towards center, replacing your hands under your shoulders, curling your toes under so they are now connected with the mat, preparing for what is basically a push-up. Inhale, high plank, pushing up off your mat, raising up, holding here, breathing here for just a second, feeling how powerful you really are. Exhale, placing your right hand in the center. Inhale, side plank, opening to the left, sending your left arm towards the sky, stacking your hips one above the other, your feet one above the other. And if you feel powerful, if you feel good, maybe starring it out, letting your plank open, holding it here, rainbowing your hips even taller. Exhale, high plank, rolling back over and sitting in this position tall and proud. Inhaling for strength. Exhale, placing your left hand towards the center. Inhale, side plank open to the right. Feeling the power, feeling the strength. Dropping your knee if you need to for stability. Giving yourself that grace. But if you can, feeling that stack, feeling that power. Inhaling, maybe starring it out, opening up the side plank. Rainbowing your hips higher. Exhale, high plank. Hold. Beautiful. Inhale and hold. Exhale, low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So beautiful. Inhale, gaze forward. Bend your knees, bend your elbows. Tippy toe your way to between your hands at the top of your mat. And exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain, slowly rising up. Hands overhead. And exhaling, prayer. Take a couple of breaths, checking in with your heart here. And when you're ready, inhale, mountain once more. Exhale, chair. Sitting low in your seat, into your heels. Breathing, feeling tall, feeling proud. Exhale, hands to prayer. Hinge forward just a bit. Inhale for power. Exhale, twist, prayer twist to the right. Sending your left elbow over your right knee, sitting back lower in your chair and twisting your gaze to the sky. checking your knees to make sure they're evenly placed. With every inhale, finding some length in your spine. And with every exhale, twisting a little more, allowing that pressure between your palms to create more space for your twist. And when you're ready, inhale, center chair. Exhale, hands to prayer and twist to the left. Oh, what a workout on the thighs. Holding this twist, checking your knees are even, sitting low in your seat. Inhaling, drawing your spine long, and exhaling, twisting a little deeper. When you're ready, inhale, chair. Exhale, fold. Beautiful work. So wonderful. Inhale, buoy up just a bit. Send your feet hips width distance apart. Exhale, ragdoll. Letting your head hang and sway over your torso. Maybe gripping for opposite elbows as you sway up and back. Maybe finding a little bend in your knees. Shaking your head, yes. Shaking your head off, no. Ending on the positive, yes. And slowly, at your pace, rolling all the way up to a nice tall mountain once more. Exhale, hands to heart-centered prayer. The small peak pose today, one that I find very fun to play with. Side crow. So you may have noticed the prayer twist at the end, a little challenging, helpful for side crow. So if you'd like to try the peak pose, you can give it a go. You would start off in a squatted position. And you would twist, much like that prayer twist, placing your elbow on the outside of your thigh. So in this case, your right arm coming to the outside of your left thigh. If you can make this twist happen, if your arm can make that connection, then you're probably really close to doing a side crow. So in side crow, we are finding that we want chaturanga arms. We want to keep that 90-degree bend in our arms, but we also have to balance with our legs stacked on one of our arms. Seems kind of strange, right? Well, much like crow, it's all about that lean. You have to lean at first and give into the lean. Find your chaturanga arms. If your legs can connect and stay connected here, then maybe you're able to do the lean all the way to the point of lifting your legs off the ground, or even to the point of lifting your hip off of your back arm. So to get into side crow, you have to start with that twist. That's your first challenge. If you can, then you lean into it. Allow your back hip to rest on your back arm at first. Give yourself that grace. And as you lean into it, you're staring ahead of your mat, much like with crow. Not too far down, but ahead. And as you lean, you may find that you're able to lift. And if you are, that's awesome. If not, it's just something to work on. Or you may find that your other side is more flexible or more powerful or more prepared. It happens. So give it a go. Planting your hands in that same chaturanga position, shoulder width apart, spreading your fingers, finding that twist. If the twist doesn't feel comfortable, then you're probably not ready for side crow. If you want, instead, work on a regular crow, placing your knees into your armpits, high on your back of your arms, and then slowly leaning forward, slowly lifting one foot and then the other. Don't feel defeated if one pose isn't accessible to you in a certain day. There's so many other poses to play with, so many other benefits for your body. But if you have side crow today, that's awesome. Give it a go. See if you can. And if you can feel really great and powerful. But also, you're learning to fly. That's probably the best part about it. Ooh, maybe you break a sweat. That's also great. Whenever you're done playing with your side crow, take a moment to sit in your hero's pose, whether that's on your feet or leaving them slightly out to the side. But placing one hand on your stomach, one hand on your heart. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, sigh it out. Feel proud for whatever you've done today, whatever shapes you made. Feel good that you showed up, took time and space for yourself. Feel powerful because you are. Inhaling, sitting up, sending your knees out wide, your toes together to touch. Exhaling, melting down, child's pose. Sending your arms long in front of you, melting your chest, then your forehead to the mat. Breathing here. Taking a moment to be thankful. Taking a moment for yourself. Inhaling, rising up. Tabletop position. One more round of cat and cows for yourself. Inhaling for cow. Exhaling for cat. When you're ready, finding stillness and coming to the side of your body into your fetal position, whether that's resting on your right arm or your left arm, whatever is comfortable for you. Allowing your upper arm to plant into the ground, holding you stable. Taking another moment. And when you're ready, pushing yourself to a seated position, Sukhasana. Taking a few breaths, finding prayer hands. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today, experimenting, maybe even sweating a little bit. But know it's for you. You're here to take up space, to take up time. Because your influence on the day is so valuable. Inhale. Hands to your third eye. Prayer. Exhale, bow to seal your practice. Namaste. All right, that was awesome. Unmuting everyone slowly.